Jim Pattillo, litigation partner at Christian and Small in Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, want to talk today about use of EUOs in combating insurance fraud. Talk us through a little bit about how they work and how they can help in the process.
Absolutely. So for the uninitiated, the EUO stands for Examination Under Oath, and it is a function of a provision in most insurance policies that allow the company to examine the claimant or the insured under oath. It's a requirement of the policy, and it's typically done towards the end of the claims investigation process. So if a company gets a claim in, they do the initial investigation, maybe take some recorded statements, request documents from the claimant, maybe a proof of loss, maybe some other records, depending on the type of claim. And if there's still suspicions about the claim, questions that are unclear, the policy allows them to take an examination under oath, question the claimant under oath, and that's typically done towards the very end of the claims process. It is, I won't say never, but it'd be extremely rare to take an examination after denial's been made. But usually it's done when most of the information that can be gathered has been gathered, and then you get to sit down with the claimant and walk through the claim. And typically people are. It's kind of like email. If I want to have a conversation with someone that's aggressive and someone's kind of combative, they tend to do it more over email. But it's harder to be that way in person. So I find that an EUO sitting down face-to-face with an insured really forces them to either commit to a story or they're going to slip up when asked some harder questions that can't be asked on paper.
You said face-to-face. How's that working now? I mean, you see the way we're meeting today, right? I'm sure you and I'd much rather be doing this in person, sitting across from each other at a table.
Absolutely.
That's the same, right? Are you able to do these face-to-face now?
Yeah, and I have done some. It is better than doing something over the phone. I've had a couple of EUOs that we've done over Zoom. Some were time is of the essence, and I can think of one that was done immediately after the quarantine started. This is probably late March or April, where there was a bar fight, and the one of the participants in the fight was being sued and requested coverage under a policy to defend and indemnify him. We had some questions about whether his acts were intentional or not. There's a policy in the provision of the policy that excluded intentional acts. So we conducted his examination under oath over Zoom, just like you and I are meeting, and it worked really well. We had a video of the bar fight, and we're able to show that to him, and it was a very effective process. So like anything else, we adapt and we move forward. There's some reasons you may want to wait till in person with certain kinds of claims, but we're certainly able to make things happen virtually if we need to.
What advice would you give to carriers? Is this a process they should be considering more? Is there especially now, right? Everything's being done a little bit differently.
Well, it's a cost benefit analysis they need to do. There's significant cost in conducting EUO. Sometimes it's not necessary, but if it's a case where you think there is clear fraud and you think the case may be headed towards litigation, it really is very helpful in the long run to go ahead and get the claimant's statement on record, explaining various documents, various things that may have come in during the process. And it helps solidify any reasons you have for a denial. If they're going to deny a claim, they need to put it in writing as to why the claim was denied, why the policy doesn't cover it. So it really beefs up your investigation in that regard and helps things moving forward if it does end up in litigation.
I imagine people may just walk away at this point too, right? I mean, if you're going to show me a video of something that I'm saying went a certain way and you can clearly see it goes another, do people ever just kind of hang up the phone and say, forget about it, I'm done with this claim?
Yeah, it is a bit of a test of their resolve. It's one thing to send in some emails and make a claim and send in a few documents, but if you've got to sit down and look at somebody in the eye and tell them a lie face to face, some people balk at that. And I've had cases where they've declined to submit to an EUO, and things just linger and the claim goes away. That's rare, but it is possible. It does happen, and it's a real test of someone's ability to maintain a misrepresentation.
Good to know for anybody out there who may be thinking about driving up the cost of insurance by submitting a fraudulent case, right? We're not going to let you get away with it that easy.
That's right. That's a large part of an EUO.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jim. Always really interesting talking to you. Appreciate the insights today.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate the time.